Hi, my name is Mark Naum. I'm part of the Intune team and I'm specialized on Apple technology and especially macOS. So today we will discuss about a really important feature, Platform SSO. Platform SSO is a feature that allows the synchronization and the integration with Entra ID and with your identity directly. So it has been a feature that has been co-developed with Apple and is based on the SSO extension. Let's see how you can configure it. And there is multiple way to configure it. This is the recommended way that I will show you, the one with the minimum parameters. Of course, you can add some parameters and you will see there is a full documentation about it. So let's start by going to macOS, going to the configuration, and we will create a new configuration for it. Here, really important, you need to select settings catalog. This is where the parameters are. Let's create and let's name this platform SSO policy. Here, because we will use secure enclave, so this is the SC, and standard because my user will be a standard account as soon as this policy will run. So platform SSC standard SC. This is the name I choose. You can choose the one you want. So let's go to add settings. Everything is under authentication and, as I said before, is part of a extensive single sign-on configuration. So you must be sure you don't have already an extensive single sign-on configuration. You must have only one. The full documentation is on aka.ms/macOS PSSO platform SSO. So let's select the mandatory parameter. Authentication method, even if it's deprecated, this settings is important if you still have macOS Ventura, so macOS 14 device, because it's only used for this version. Extension data, you will need this. You will need the URLs. Type is automatically selected. You need a type identifier, screen lock behavior, registration token is there, and all the specific platform SSO parameters. Again, there is a lot of settings. I will just select the one who are mandatory and recommended. Authentication method is important. Let's go and select the non-platform SSO account. This is a new parameter that is important if you are using labs in the same time. Use shared device key, it's mandatory, and user authentication mode is also required. So let's configure the one who need to have a specific configuration where you can choose, and you will see there is parameter who are just mandatory setting that you will fill using the documentation, and I will just copy paste the value here. So authentication method, this is where it's important. So password is where you want to synchronize the password between Entra ID and your local account of a Mac. This is a good configuration. You can do this. Just the more secure is the one using the secure enclave one. Non-platform SSO account, this is the account you have defined in the labs configuration. So this is your manager, meaning you don't want this account to have a platform SSO. So you need to exclude it. Use shared device key, it must be enabled. User authorization mode, this is where you will select it as a standard. So that means the user will be a standard user. If you want your user to be admin, you can select admin here. Registration token, this is a mandatory parameter. You just need to have this value here. Screen lock, not to handle, is this by default. The team identifier also is by default. All the URL are documented on our Microsoft site, aka.ms/macOS PSSO. You just need to copy this value. I can import them here. Use secure enclave. Again, this deprecated parameter is only for macOS 14, macOS Ventura. If you don't have macOS Ventura anymore, you don't need that parameter. Extension here, redirect. This is mandatory to work with Entra ID. If you are using something else than Entra ID, all the parameters will be different. Here, I'm only speaking about Entra ID. Here, this is the free extension data that we are recommend. They are by default also. So just create them and use the documentation to find the value. There is no need here for me to describe this value one by one. There is more option that you can add. There will be extremely important if you are using macOS 26 tau, as there is other parameter to add here. Okay, so this is the minimum one to use secure enclave. This is a recommended configuration to start. Just go and click next. Assignment. Here I will just select all user. Of course, you can create group of user who will have password synchronization, user will be admin, user will be standard. I just selecting all user for the demo effect here. And click next, review my parameters, and that's it. My platform SSO configuration is configured. I highly recommend you to use this because it makes the life of all your users and all your admin way easier. Thank you.